Hello, I want to have a talk about learning languages, and I know one thing or two as a learner, as a teacher. Uh, First of all, my collocation inside this world of polyglots is quite in the middle. Why? I'm not one of those who make. I've been. Okay, I was earning money through teaching languages. But my main goal in life is becoming a better musician, a better person, and I inflated, so to speak, these two things in composing and singing political song, a controversial subject like, you know, the the magic thing against the terrible bug. You know what I'm speaking about, why we cannot speak freely. I've been the object or several blogs and threads by YouTube and also Facebook. If you're a free mind in this world, and I've been alienating the interests of many people for me and my channels. Anyway, I don't give a fiddler's fart about that. So I want to say that I see things from pretty real perspectives. I mean, I can see where common people come from. I mean, their attitude when it comes to foreign languages. What I think that sometimes people are on the extreme ends of the spectrum. Some people don't give a shit, speak like very badly. They take things lightly. Other people are obsessed. Okay, if you don't give a shit and you condone your very bad speaking, it's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot then speak about learning languages and express your opinions like they are worth listening to. Other people demand from their viewers to be so committed as they are. First of all, my approach is, when it comes to listening, speaking, your part, which is at the beginning, the main part of learning a language, I think that what you do in the first weeks and months, it will follow you for the rest of your learning and speaking the language you're learning. That means that it's very difficult to, mainly for some languages, and also because of the spelling, this writing system, it's very difficult to pronounce quite good. Obviously, it depends also on what your first language is. Currently, I'm learning Russian, and I noticed that if I start speaking now, I will speak like shit, and speaking like shit doesn't teach you to speak well. So I know it's counterintuitive, but I'd rather spend much more time listening, and then after, I don't say I don't pronounce a Russian word. No, I know, but it still sounds like shit. Obviously, the single sound, I know when it's a e, when it's a ah, because it's written like a e or like a o, but it's not pronounced a or o, depending where the stress falls. So you need to learn to at least single sounds to be right. And then, I mean, it's not easy. Remember, your approach to learning the language and the feedback depends also on the language you're learning. For example, Greek people are extremely annoying because I know Greek well, and they are condescending, patronizing. Russian people are very harsh and demanding, in spite of the fact that their language is much more difficult, generally speaking, than modern Greek. Regardless of what Greek people think, Russian is objectively more complicated. In Greek, it's difficult to write. Most of the times we don't write, but it's easy to read. There's stress on the. That's a good thing. I don't think that a difficult language is per se a better thing. No, not at all. But at least, so let's say if you want a good challenge, I started Turkish. Turkish and Russian are a good challenge. Quite difficult in very different ways. Not so difficult as Chinese, Japanese, even Korean, or maybe Arabic. But the Russian is a pain in the ass. Obviously, if you like the process, it's a challenge. So, but if you expect to be a walk in the park, no, it takes time. It takes a lot of listening. I have my method, obviously. I don't do things haphazard. I use Assimil. When I finish my first Assimil, I'll buy another method to be on the safe side. And the one for the second book, okay? I think for the first book, it will take at least 1 fucking year, and it will take at least 2 hours per day, including listening. First months are difficult, I think, for every language, but for completely new language, I mean, not similar language like I'm learning Portuguese, French a little bit less, even Romanian, which is quite different among Romance languages. You have to grin and bear it. You have to embrace the thing and ask yourself, am I ready? Otherwise, it's better to give up at the beginning than later on. It will sound like, but why should you give up at the beginning? You should like the process. You should like the language. Sometimes there is a problem because you like the language, but then you discover that most of the speakers of the language had an attitude, because people obviously they don't behave the same way in all of Russia, but there is an ethos. Okay, so if you don't like people who have a traditional approach to teaching languages, and you want to learn a language at the same time deal with those people who native speakers, maybe you will find that native speakers of Russians don't psychologically help you. To me, it's a challenge, and I pick the challenge, I accept it. Some people can find themselves in better hands with Greek people, are very condescending, patronizing. I don't like it. Some other people may like it. I don't. Obviously, when you deal with people online and you want a language change, with the way I am 90% of the people are a lost cause. Either skip appointments for language change, or they cancel the same day with no excuse and with no apology. I find that very rude. Or they have a traditional approach. What I don't like, for example, they say, "Can you read Russian?" Yes, I can read Russian. You can learn to read Russian. 1 hour per day in 2 days you can read Russian. But that's not the point. I learned a character, but you read fast with the right pronunciation is possible. It's impossible to read Russian without knowing Russian. If you don't know the word, you don't know what the stress is, and you have to develop this reflex of pronouncing the E, more or less, character, either E or Ye, or the Ya character, it can be pronounced Ya or E, or A sometimes. The E can be pronounced A or E. It takes time, or Ye. It takes time. It's not the I can read, I cannot read. Obviously, I read what is written. I know the characters, but it takes more than that. It's not like Greek. There's a stress, and okay, it's kind of easy. No, right? Reading Russian is not easy. It's not as difficult as Japanese or Arabic, or the most difficult is Chinese, I think. But it is difficult. But remember, however much difficult it seems to you, it is a language that is spoken by people. That means even a child, a 2-year-old child, a 3-year-old, let's say, Russian, speaks Russian with the declinations and whatever. Let's think about that. Okay, if they can make it, I can make it. I will never speak like them. It's not my first language. In this case, is my fourth language. And at the beginning, it takes more time. Once you reach a certain level, then everything is downhill. In a good sense of downhill. Everything is easier. It takes time, perseverance. Use your mind. When I learn, I don't use the word study. It gives, and I don't think like studying geography, history is completely different. I try to have moments where I'm focused and moments where I listen to what is written. I review what things that I already have been learning, because you need to forget and then remember again, and forget and remember again, till they're part of you. So my process is very, very slow, but very well built. My knowledge is based on good, what is the right word? I forgot in English. You see, you think you know a language. The more you use a language, more you know that you don't know. Okay. Foundations, bedrock, grounds. No, I think good foundation, a good bedrock. I there are moments where you're discouraged. There are moments where you more wound up, more enthusiastic. It's up and downs. Remember, time. It takes time. Be sure to have a method. Be sure to have the audio part. Be sure that you move on when you have usually have some lessons. I push forward every day, one lesson or half a lesson, and I review what I've been doing before. So there is a part where is, but every day something I knew how to say family, I knew how to say more or than, and things like that. You better do things every day. Let's think that 1 month ago I didn't know anything. I know привет, спасибо, до свидания. It took me some time to make up my mind. I was uncertain. Then I said, okay, I buy the book. And when I have the book and the recording, first of all, I like this. I like Asimil. I like the lessons. I like the way they are done. They made them. I like, because I used for Turkish that for some reason I gave up. Maybe if I survive in 2-3 years I will pick it up again. That's what I wanted to say. Goodbye.